Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Second in Command podcast. My name is Timothy Simons.
I'm Matt Walsh.
Yes, by Matt Walsh. I was going to do the thing where I was like, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host.
It's always sloppy, but
it's always
okay.
a little sloppy.
Yeah,
We've never gotten. We've been doing this for a number of years.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling comfortable?
I'm fantastic. You know, I always wonder about that because I'll do it on the podcast where I introduce everyone, but would you rather be introduced or introduce yourself?
This is a question I should have asked you in the last 3 years.
We're going to unpack some real stuff. The way the podcast has been lately, Tim has taken on a lot of producing work. It's kind of like whoever has the most passion. So Tim does the edits. He does a lot of work.
Wow.
And so I welcome and appreciate his effort. So it sort of started that he throws to the intro and he takes the intro. But in the old days, it was much more unregulated. It's not regulated now, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're a deregulated state.
We're a deregulated state.
Nothing is regulated now.
So my preference is don't really care.
Gotcha.
I'm grateful for the effort that whatever.
If I want to say this, if you ever find and Van, we're gonna introduce you in just a moment.
I appreciate that.
If you ever feel like there is an imbalance, I need and want you to speak to it.
I will.
Okay, but I trust it. I just wanted to say it.
All the best creative collaborations I've been in are people, whoever is most passionate and does the most work, that's the thing that's going to happen. And you got to respect that.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like people who bitch but aren't willing to do the work, go somewhere else, man.
And that's usually me.
Oh,
bitching and then not wanting to do the work. I would say historically, I'm
that's not true about you.
We have Van Lathan in with us. So should we clear the air right away?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I got to tell you guys a
feud?
story. No, there wasn't. The small feud, a point of contention.
A point of contention is a nice way of putting it.
Me and this bastard went to dinner some years ago, okay? Tommy Alter, you know him.
Yes.
So Tommy, great friend of mine, he has little get-togethers. He'll get a couple of guys together for a dinner. And there's always, at all of these dinners, at least to me, one celebrity that I was not expecting to be there.
Ooh.
Always. I could go back on the last 4 dinners that I've had, and there's always somebody that I'm like, oh, then the guy play it cool. You know what I mean? This time, it was him.
Okay.
And I had just started watching Veep. Because I had seen this Twitter clip of all of these hysterical moments from Veep. And then I tweeted, I was like, yo, somehow Veep I didn't start watching it, but should I be watching Veep? And everyone went nuts. They were like, are you crazy? Yes. So I just started watching them. I see them. We're there. We're vibing. We're talking about our age, getting older, the whole 9. I'm saying that the motherfucker from Veep is my friend. I'm telling people, I know that guy. Yeah. The tall guy. That's my guy. Yeah, TS.
You're dining out. You're walking into bars and like, hook me up. I'm buddies with that.
I'll FaceTime him right now. You want to say hi?
Yeah, we're watching me and Kaliko are watching the show. It's like, that dude right there. That's my dude.
Yeah.
You know. So I get asked to do this podcast, and I'm like, oh man, he reaching out, us 2 buds, 2 guys. And I tell Fantasy, shout out Sean, it's like I had dinner with that guy. Sean goes, he doesn't remember it. It's no clue. Didn't happen. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, no, I had dinner with that guy. Me, him, Tommy Alter. There was one more person there who I don't remember who that was.
Also don't remember that.
They didn't make an impression.
Being like, fuck these guys.
I don't remember who that was, but he totally didn't remember.
How do you know he didn't remember you?
Because you told Sean, or you told me.
Sean connected us because I was listening to your live rewatch. Well, I will tell you the moment where I was like, I got to have Van on. You were doing a live rewatchables of Den of Thieves, which was incredible.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
And Van pitched a sequel to Den of Thieves called Den of Thieves Race War.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard by myself in the car. I was like, we just have to have him on. And so we were emailing back and forth like, hey, man, huge fan of yours. Like, I would love it if you would come on. And I get this email back that just said, we had dinner.
We did. Like, we had dinner. I was like, we had dinner. You and I are friends.
No signature, no like we had dinner best, Van.
Yeah.
It was just, we had dinner.
Because I was expecting the email to ask me to come on to be like a little broy. I was expecting it to
friendlier.
be like, hey, yo, man, it's your boy. TS, like, we never really got a chance to catch up after the wondrous dinner that we had at the restaurant that I can't remember on La Brea.
With that other guy we also can't remember.
We can't remember. But, man, we got this podcast. Come on the podcast. And I'm like, damn. And I told Sean, I'm like, Sean, he doesn't even remember we had dinner. And Sean was like, dude, you're bummed about it. I'm like, yeah, man, I thought I was 1 second away from being in the Veep crew.
Well, I hate to do it, but I'm going to defend Tim here because he is a Hollywood phony. Don't get me wrong. Tim is he's a star effer like all of us.
Yeah,
I got it too, but he's got it a lot.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was an email, like there's a difference because I don't remember things sometimes. Maybe I'm older, but like the fact that it was an email, it wasn't like he ran into you at a party. It was like an email. And so it wasn't matched to you. Do you know what I mean? There was a little distance from, and podcasts are an auditory experience. He wasn't watching the video of you. Had he been watching the video of your show, he would have been like, that's my dinner friend, I'm thinking.
But see, what you just did.
Is that true or not?
This is my fear. Let me tell you what my fear is.
Is this for therapy or is this for
you literally
for
leaned in. You adjusted yourself in your seat.
Fear.
Is this a fear for your therapist, or you think this is a fear for America?
This is a fear. Particularly, this is an LA fear, okay? Because this happens. My fear is I would have seen him somewhere else, and I would have approached him. Like, yo, what's good, man? What's going on? And he'd have been like, yeah, hi, how are you? Whatever. And then you get that sinking feeling when you're talking to someone, he doesn't remember me. Now, I've become an expert at this. I'll make you tell me.
Oh, you'll put people on the spot?
No. It's like, hey, Van, what's up, man? It's like, bro, I haven't seen you since the thing. Yeah. Since the party a couple of years ago. Yeah, you were with the guy. Yeah, Clarence. Yeah, man, how's Clarence? I can bullshit you into revealing.
So it helps
the
you.
Entire circumstances under which we met. That's how fucking fake I've become. But, like, I can, by the end of it, we'll be talking about your mom and like say good to your people and stuff like that. Walk away, talk to Kalika. I have no idea who that was.
Welcome to a party with my wife. That is, I'm very good at that as well.
Yeah.
People remember you, and I'm like, I wish I did. And I'm not a bad person, but I don't always remember people.
In the only defense that I can make, and I truly feel awful about it, that I didn't remember.
It's tough.
It is.
Had you been more famous, he would have remembered you.
Very true.
Yeah.
If you were a bigger star, you had a bigger queue. If your star meter on IMDb was big,
he
would have remembered you.
On a red carpet, where like all those PR people have like a list of names and headshots.
Yeah.
I carry one of those with me every day. Every day I'm walking around, flipping through it on the pod. Go back and listen to old podcasts. You hear papers rustling the whole time. In the only defense that I can make of it is that it existed pre-pandemic.
Very
and that I feel like is a weird, I felt like up until that point, and even my wife would attest to this, I felt like somebody was very confident in my memories. And during the pandemic, it got all fucked up. Like shit just left. And I did actually read like an article about this once about how like if literally passing through
doorways.
Have you heard this?
No, what's up?
Helps you
literally
remember.
passing through doorways, entryways, going into different spaces allows your brain to store things like they would. It sort of like compartmentalizes them in the physical space in which they happen. And in the pandemic, we weren't walking through.
There was no
doors.
change of scenery.
There was so everything gets to be this jumbled fucking mush.
Yeah.
And that's the only defense that I can make of it. I will say 100% Van. For the rest of my life, that will never happen again.
That's what I'm talking about. By the way, that article seems like it was written by somebody who couldn't remember somebody's name at a party.
And he was talking to you.
And he funded a study just to get off the hook for not
Actually, the opening
people.
paragraph did start, I was talking to Van the other day.
See? There you go.
And I didn't remember, and so I decided to look into
It's
it.
tough. Very forgettable.
Yeah, in the old days, I would be, because I've gotten phony, like you're saying, I know how to fake it when people say, hey, man. I used to go, they would go like, we worked together on the Fish movie. I'm like, no, we didn't. Because that was my experience.
Yeah.
And like, don't say that.
Yeah.
No one cares what you're basically saying. I don't remember you.
Yeah.
That's not important. Make that person feel good because they have a connection. You're like, oh yeah. Yeah.
One thing somebody did to me one time that I actually thought really worked because it was done to me for a long time. One of my first jobs in town, Walsh knows this, is that I was like a camera runner for commercial casting sessions. So I would see 400 people a day or whatever. And a lot of people that would come in over and over again, you might get to know them or you might just know them by their first and last name. But I ran into somebody that I knew from that experience in a grocery store. And I did the thing of like, hey, oh my God, how's it going? How have you been? And they just looked at me and very quickly went, I'm so sorry. You're out of context right now. I know we know each other.
Out of context?
You're out of context.
Like a teacher in a grocery store.
So they told you that to your face?
Yes, because they were like, we know each other, but I just cannot place it where. And I guess to me, the phrase "you're just out of context" made it less about me as a person being forgettable and more about like whatever is happening. I have never seen you in this circumstance. The way that can go wrong is if you see somebody on a film set and you're like, you're out of context. And they're like, no, the only context we've ever had before is on a film set.
It's funny how stuff, if I said something to somebody and they went, you're out of context, I'd be like, yo, what you mean I'm out of context?
You get upset?
Yeah, what you talking about? I will say this though. Look, this, as I talk about not remembering people, I heard a story one time about TC, Mr. Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's
a listener.
Yeah.
To this, so be careful.
Oh, is he?
Well,
yeah.
He's number one fan.
We can assume.
Yeah.
We can assume.
Yeah.
So
He's got
someone
a pseudonym listening.
told me that they were at a dinner with TC, and it was maybe 10 people at the dinner, and they were all sat, and TC comes in, and before sitting down to dinner, he goes around the entire dinner talking to people and saying a little something about them. Hi, how are you? I've heard this and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And hey, how are you? Using their names. So before the dinner, he collated information about them and then gave it back to them, unbeknownst to them, at the dinner. Talked to the guy who put the dinner on, who's going to be there. Told him who was going to be there, and then went around the dinner remembering faces and remembering little things about people. That's where TC's there, and that's why I'm here.
Yep.
TC's at the top, hanging off of fighter planes and all of that stuff like that. And I'm here doing this good podcast.
Well, he's also someone told me on a set, like the second AD or the base camp PA, name was Ken, and every day, because Tom was generous, he would buy coffee trucks for the crew, and he was a very generous person, and he would always zoom past this kid named Ken. He's like, keep it up, Tom. You're doing great, Tom.
Maybe it's bullshit.
No.
But you know what?
He meets 1 million people,
right?
And he had his assistant collate information for that dinner party because he wants to be that guy. Like he is. No one can be Tom Cruise. He's the best movie star currently, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, but.
I did one last little TC story that I heard that I do love. I was working on a thing and the sound crew had worked on maybe one of the Mission Impossible movies. I can't remember what movie it was, but he had a picture of he and Tom Cruise like on his little sound setup. And he was like, you know what he does? He knows that everybody working on a production wants a picture with Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Everybody like wants a selfie. He knows that's something that exists. So what he does is he says, the amount of pictures I would have to take would actually have a negative effect on the timing of the production of this film. We have so much to do. I mean, like, and of course, he's hanging off fighter planes. Like, he's got to be focused so that he doesn't fall off a fighter plane. He's also a producer. He also does all that stuff. So, like, you know, the man, like, is busy. But what he does is he says, like, on our last day of production, he brings in a photographer and like has a professional, like sort of a professional photo studio. And he's like, bring your family, bring your kids, bring your dog, bring your friend.
That's amazing.
And you line up and you take a picture with Tom Cruise and then you get a copy of it.
All right. So if you like what you're listening to, guys, guess what?
You can find the rest of it on Patreon. All you got to do is you go to patreon.com/second in command and subscribe for $5 a month, and you have access to the entire Veep Rewatch catalog, which you cannot get anywhere else. Lots of bonus content, and you
The
will
rest
have
of this episode,
the
quite
rest
frankly.
of this episode that you were enjoying. So we'll see you over there, patreon.com/second in command. And here's one other thing. If you sign up on your mobile browser or on desktop, you will avoid a 30% upcharge from Apple. So if you want to pay Apple more money to get the same content, you absolutely can. After you sign up on your mobile web browser or your desktop, you can then use the app and you won't get that 30% upcharge. Just letting you know.
I think I understand what you mean.